Sounds good. But just one last thing. So you mentioned there's not a lot of fathers that talk about these things, but like if you look up the numbers, right, like kids that are in fatherless homes are more likely to commit crimes and end up in jail and be teen parents and do drugs. And, so I mean, we're kind of the offensive lineman of parents, right? We're not the star of the show like the moms are, but we're important. We got to be there. And
Exactly.
I think our presence is felt as much as our absence.
Man, Kenny,
So
did you just give us our intro? Did you just make our
maybe,
intro right now?
maybe.
Kenny, by you
First
dropping
one's
that,
free.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alex.
I'm David.
And we got a special guest here today with us. Please announce yourself.
Hi, my name Ken Thompson, longtime friend of the Early Intervention Brothers.
Longtime friend. He knows us on a first name basis and first name basis only. And as he said, we are the Early Intervention Brothers, and we have our longest and dearest friend with us, and he's going to talk life with us.
Sounds good, guys. Let's do it.
So, Kenny, first question for you. You've known us for many, many years. We've known you for many, many years. What are some, if you can remember, what were some of the stressors or some of the topics that were going through your head, knowing when you first found out that Khaleesi was pregnant?
Man, little backstory. So I have two kids. My daughter's 3.5. My son's 1.5. So it was a few years ago, but I think like just finding out, that she's pregnant and that I'm going to be a dad, because she told me, and then it was kind of like, oh, cool. We were trying, but then to go see the first ultrasound and you see the little heartbeat, and then it gets real, and you got to like look around your house and think like, all right, well, I'm going to have a kid here. So what's dangerous? Right. And then I gotta think about myself, like what can I offer to this child that has really no say in what's about to happen to it, and I gotta be able to try to raise a child that's gonna be a good member of society and just kind of live a fulfilling life. So there's really a lot of introspective things that happen. You got to look at yourself and see, am I somebody that this kid's going to be proud of? There's just sorry, my wife's walking around right now, so she's distracting me a little bit.
No worries, as she should be, right? As she should be, right?
Yeah. And then it kind of, go ahead.
Those are some deep comments right there, Kenny.
They are deep. I think that's
those are some
deep ever had on our channel. But it's real. It's real.
And I would say, and none of this is rehearsed. This is just straight on asking Kenny questions, and for him to comment on some really, really good stuff here. I mean, it's amazing. It's a huge, like, I'm super proud. I don't want to show it too much, but I'm super proud of those comments, Kenny, because we don't get a lot of those comments made. And I mean, just as far as that self-imagery for your daughter and for your son, I mean, that's huge to say, as far as like being a contributor to society. Like that is super deep in how it's basically a contribute to your parenting, because you're already putting great standards and morals into your parenting to announce it just right now.
Yeah, right. The goal for today is to get David to cry. That's going to be the goal today, which I'm pretty sure he'll be able to do it. And David's a big softie. He may look like a big monster, but if anyone can make David cry, I think it's going to be Kenny. But going back to what you're saying in parenting, now, I think why we are such good friends, and with our close circle of friends, why we are who we are and why we hang out with each other is we weren't raised with a male figure growing up. And we were going to go there. We're just going to jump right into it. We both, David and I, as well as Kenny, lost our fathers at a very young age. Now, Kenny, talk about how that kind of plays into how you're parenting.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys will get into this if you guys end up having kids, but it's like, I kind of, as I got older, I kind of realized the void of not having my dad around. So I want to make sure that my kids don't ever have to experience that, whether that means, I make better choices as far as safety goes, my personal safety, whether that means, I make sure that I do everything I can to make sure my marriage works out, just kind of at the most basic level, just make sure that I'm there and available to them. Which none of us had, right? So
we didn't. We had male figures, but I think as we were growing up, because we went to kindergarten, elementary, middle school, high school, early adulthood, where it was us, the core group of
Mhm.
friends that we have. And I believe in those early years when we were just young and dumb and just running around being foolish, we felt invincible with each other. But I often felt that we checked each other sometimes. We had to be there for each other and just regulate each other once in a great while.
Yeah, yeah, it's very true. And I mean, just growing up in the town where we grew up, you guys have mentioned it, Salton City, California is kind of just a place full of broken families. And
It is.
there was a lot of kids, near our age that kind of went down a wrong path. And I feel like our friend group, I'm proud of all of us. I think we're all extremely successful in, whatever we're doing. So
Yeah.
it's been fun to watch.
And I think that'll be the next thing that we do is just have everyone up on board, and just have a good time. Just when you grow up the way that we grew up, very much so from broken homes. Like all of us are from broken homes, but yet it's normal to us.
Mhm.
This was life growing up in Salton City, population of under 2,000, a class, like an actual graduating class of like 30 students. That was normal. Knowing everyone's first name, knowing everyone's parents' first name, knowing the siblings, knowing the grandparents, everyone knowing your business. That was normal to us. And I think that plays a huge factor in how, well, not only your parenting, but how we will be parenting. And it gives us a different perspective.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And yeah, it keeps me very humble and mindful of just kind of everything I do as a father for my kids.
No, for sure. Now I have to hear, Kenny, what was that emotion when the doctor placed your daughter in your hands? Because I don't think
Man,
I've ever asked you this. I don't think I've ever asked you this. What was that emotion?
yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on. So my wife, we ended up, it was kind of a complete 180. We planned an out of hospital birth, and we were with a midwife, and it was going to be all natural, pretty much. We were going to do it at the midwife's birth center, no epidural, none of that, right? So but
Old
then
school.
it was
Old school.
old school, yeah. So I think it was like week 32 or 33, we found out that our daughter was it's called frank breech. So she was not only head up but also facing forward. So pretty much it's very risky to have a natural birth that or vaginal birth that way. So it was we tried a couple of things. It's called an external version, where they try to flip the baby. That didn't work. So we realized that we had to actually have a cesarean, which was, like I said, complete opposite of what we wanted. But so to get back to the kind of emotion that I felt, I mean, like there's just a lot going on.
David cry. Make David cry.
So really, I mean, basically you just no, so I walk into the hospital or the operating room, right, and I see my wife all strung up and you know hair cap on and all that, and there's a big curtain right here, so I can't see down there. They ask you if you want to be able to see, and I said no, I didn't want to see any of that stuff.
You
But
didn't want to end up in the ER from
yeah,
passing out, right?
yeah, exactly. Meet my baby 3 days later or something. So so I walk in, and first, I'm kind of in awe of my wife, right? Just because if that was me, if I had to go through that, we wouldn't have any kids. I like both vaginal birth and C-sections are both terrifying to me. So
Yep.
I told her, I was like, wow, honey, you're so brave. And I was trying to hold back tears because I knew I was about to meet my kid, which we didn't know the gender. We were going to wait. And so
Excitement.
yeah. So then, it's like 15 minutes and you're just kind of there talking to your wife. And then pretty quick, you hear the baby cry, right? And they tell you beforehand that with cesareans, you might not hear your baby cry because it's not like a normal birthing process. And but right away we heard her crying, and in our birth plan, we told the doctors and the nurses that I was going to announce the gender. So they're holding the baby up, and like I see that it's a girl, but I can't get the words out, right? I'm like,
stop it. Stop
and
it.
then they started like pull her back. So I was like, it's a girl, and then all the doctors and nurses are like, yeah. So
Awesome.
so that was pretty cool. And then they take her away for a little bit, and I was kind of bugging the anesthesiologist. I was like, can I go? Like, I need to be with my baby.
Mhm.
And so finally she walked me into the other room, and I was able to be there for the measurements and
Awesome.
everything. Yeah. And then I got to carry her back to my wife.
Now
So
that
yeah,
walk,
it's indescribable.
that walk from when the professional nurse or doctor places your child in your hand, that
Mhm.
walk from when you grabbed her and are now holding her to taking her to your wife, what was that walk like? Was it the most terrifying walk of your
It
life?
was
You have that life in your hands now?
not only that life, but then you see like all the sharp corners and pointy objects, and you're in an operating room full of things that can inflict bodily harm. So it was, yeah, it's kind of surreal. I mean, there's a lot going on, and you're just, by then, we've been at the hospital for 10 hours or something, and you're already kind of tired, and you're just
Yeah.
running on fumes, and then you get this jolt of adrenaline because you just had a baby.
Mm.
And and then it, like, you can't even describe how perfect they end up being.
That's awesome.
Like, you can't imagine it until she's in your hands.
Amazing. So
Come on,
I would
man.
say
We
the,
gotta
the
get David
only
to
thing
cry.
that
Come on, David. Come on, David. No emotion.
I
It's been a long day or what?
I was getting there. I was getting there. The build up for it, I almost, I shed a tear right now. But I was gonna say, Kenny, the only thing that went according to plan of your guys' birth plan was your announcement that it's a girl.
Yeah, and then I almost messed that up too.
You know,
You got one job. You got one job. Get the diaper bag and announce the sex of the baby, right?
I would say, the excitement, the joy, the anxiety, the adrenaline, all of those mixed in with to do a 180 of what your actual birth plan was. I mean, wow, and I've had many conversations with you and your wife, but this is the first time hearing the details of how you were feeling.
Yeah.
And I mean, per COVID era, I mean, I've been to your house plenty of times for barbecues and little get-togethers. I mean, to hear the final ending story as far as what actually happened. I mean,
yeah,
how awesome for you to experience that moment. Like Alex is saying, the moment that you got your daughter, you had your daughter in your hands, where you're going to walk over to Kilicia. That's, I mean, excitement in itself, but tons of emotion, tons of different feelings at that time.
Yeah,
Awesome,
no,
awesome.
it's something I'll never forget. That's for sure.
And that's why in wanting you to come on, because David and I are not dads yet, and it's something that we do exclusively with our group text, is talking about that. Like, I bring up fears because you and our other close friend, Mr. Juan Guzman, which we're going to have him on soon too, I bounce all these questions off of you guys. You guys are fathers and you guys are going through it. And I love hearing the stories, and it's giving me a lot of insight and helping me kind of come to terms and fighting and overcoming that fear of one day becoming a father. Because in all honesty, in my opinion right now, raising a child is going to be the most single-handedly difficult thing that we are ever going to do on this world. Because like how you said earlier, raising a functional person in society, like that, to me, it's just like, whoa. Because some people, you can have babies, but being a parent is a different level,
Yep.
And it's just amazing in order to hear those things, because it's helping me have more confidence in that moment. And yes, David and I argue this all the time. You're never really ready to become a parent. But at the same time, I believe in preparation and just being as ready as possible.
Yeah. Well, I think it was Mike Tyson, right? He said everyone has a plan till they get punched in the mouth. And that's exactly what parenting is. Because, like, I mean, not to like deter you at all, but like a lot of the things you plan, your baby is not part of those plans, right? They're not there during the planning process. So, like, like there's some babies can't breastfeed, right? And there's moms that really want to breastfeed, but then if their baby is like, nope, I'm not going to latch. Well, you got to feed your baby. So you got to find a way to do that. And, a lot of it is stuff that's you just got to change on the fly. So it is kind of being prepared, getting your preferences set and everything, but also just, I think being prepared to be unprepared is pretty important too, because there are a lot of things that just pop up that you didn't even consider, and you have to have an answer and have a solution for it pretty quickly.
Yeah, you got to be a master puzzle solver, right? I mean, because that's what children are, and raising children. And I tell something to a lot of the parents that I work with services with early intervention is get comfortable being uncomfortable,
Right.
And the same thing applies. Having to come up with a solution in the moment when your child is hungry, when your child is having a tantrum, when your child does want to walk off the end of the sofa thinking that they can fly, and being able to grasp that concept and be in that moment and figure out, oh, how can I turn this into a teachable moment?
Right.
I forget the meme that I see on Facebook or on Instagram, but I think it was like 95% of the first 2 years of life is making sure your child doesn't kill themselves.
Yeah.
You know, like you're always like protecting them from, you know, falling off the couch or, you know, jumping off the couch, you know, jumping off the counter. Alex was a big baby climber. He was a big baby that liked to climb out of things when he was younger.
I learned how to crawl out of my crib before I learned how to walk first.
So he was always a climber. So
yeah,
no,
they're little suicide machines, that's for sure.
You know, and that's the thing. A big part of your guys' engaged parenting is being there and in the moment. One of the things that I preach a lot is about just being flexible, because yeah, you can make a plan, you know, to go to the park, but is your child really going to enjoy that moment at that time going to the park? Or you know, you got to be very, very flexible when it comes to scheduling things. Your child might not feel well that day, and on the way to the park might throw up everything they ate that morning.
Yeah. I called into work today because my daughter was up throwing up last night. So
look at that.
It happens.
This is unplanned, unreased.
Yeah.
David, you must have just smelt it or something.
So again, no, it's because I'm in the field, baby. That's why we know these things.
Yeah.
we
plus,
know
you're just down
things.
the street. We're neighbors too. So
yeah, that's the other thing too.
That was the baby crying yesterday.
Yeah.
I just play with you.
That was Kenny. That was Kenny.
That was Kenny. Nice. I was going to ask you, Kenny, because I know not only do you have your daughter, you also have a son.
Yeah.
Because of this whole COVID era, what's something that you had to adapt to? You know, because we didn't all see COVID shutting everything down. We didn't see that. You know, so what's something? I'm going to ask them, but some people still don't. What's something that you as a family really had to adjust to and change your guys' schedule and adapt to, so that you have some type of normalcy? Because, you know, I know you have your daughter and then you have your son. I mean, the age group is still close to each other, but what's something that you've changed now because of COVID, either scheduling or routine wise?
Well, yeah. So he was born in August of 2019. So it was right before it all started happening. And our daughter was able to, you know, she was a really good restaurant baby, right? Because we went to restaurants a lot and we got to go camping a lot. And we got to go to movies a couple times with her before the pandemic. Whereas my son hasn't really been able to do any of that, right? So it has been kind of tough. He hasn't been out in society as much as my daughter. So we have been, you know, once we kind of realized, or we realized that healthy people tend to do okay with it, then we did start seeing family a little bit more. And so just to kind of get him back into seeing, you know, people and how to act within a group. So he still isn't a very good restaurant baby. And then my daughter has also kind of lost some of her manners, just, you know, going a year without being at a restaurant. But one thing that we were lucky with, my wife and I both didn't really miss any work because of it. And our daycare did stay open for essential workers. So our son was able to still at least have the daycare experience. So there is a lot of just societal things that he's going to have to pick up on. But I mean, who's to say, right? Even if we had continued, if my daughter, you know, just becoming 3, right, she's probably going to act up in a restaurant too. So, you know, so yeah, it's kind of an ongoing thing. But I think just staying active. We go hiking and take walks and get them out of the house when we weren't really able to. Yeah, and not just park them in front of the TV, or because, you know, you do get stir crazy just being stuck in a house with, even, you know, I love my kids to death, but I get tired of them too, you know.
Be real.
You gotta get away from them, and you gotta let them get away from you. They get just as tired of you. So you have to just kind of do what you can to get away, get some space.
That's big. And that's like, I just want to stick on that for 1 second, because there is that feeling, like, because I'm not a parent yet, but always wanting to be with my child. But that's more insight. And once again, you're educating me, Mr. Kenny Thompson, on hearing that. And I think that's a big thing for some of our viewers to understand. And a lot of our viewers, or a lot of the people that we work with, a lot of the families that we work with, they feel that pressure of, oh, I always have to be with my child. I always have to make them happy. And it's almost to the detriment of the development of the child, even though they don't want to hear them cry, but a little struggle's okay. But what you just said right now is so powerful. And that is amazing, which is why I'm so glad that you're on with us right now.
Yeah. And you can, like, you know, as you get to know your kids, it's easy to pick up when they're tired of you too. You know, like my daughter, I don't know where she learned it, but if I'm just, you know, kind of on her all day, and she'll just be like, ah, you know, like she's 2.5, or she just still does that, right? Or 3.5, sorry. But she, you know, she's a three-nager, and she lets me know, and she'll say like, Daddy, I don't want you right now.
Ooh,
okay.
Ooh,
you know, go find something to do.
That's going to be another tough, fun topic, because Kenny, we definitely want you on again. And if you like hearing Kenny talk, if you like what you were seeing, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share the information. But David, before we go, is there anything else you want to ask Kenny?
No, I think, Kenny, thank you for coming on to the channel. A lifelong friend here. And I know I've bounced plenty of ideas off camera as far as early development. You've asked me ideas. I've talked to your wife about early development. So when Alex brought your name up, I said, bring him on.
Yeah.
Because
that was fun.
You know, definitely having you on. And I mean, being a male, and we don't get too many fathers really talking about early development. So to have you on this channel, as far as me and Alex being males in the field, hearing it from a father, you know, thank you for taking this opportunity and joining us on our channel, Kenny.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. It was fun. We didn't talk about a whole lot, but I'd like to do it again. But yeah, just talking about
some people. We got to save a little something for the viewers. You know, we got to keep them coming back, right?
All right, sounds good. But just one last thing. So you mentioned there's not a lot of fathers that talk about these things, but like if you look up the numbers, right, like kids that are in fatherless homes are more likely to commit crimes and end up in jail and be teen parents and do drugs. And, you know, so we're kind of the offensive linemen of parents, right? We're not the star of the show like the moms are, but we're important. We got to be there. And
exactly.
I think our presence is felt as much as our absence.
Man, Kenny, did you just give us our intro? Did you just make our intro right now?
Maybe.
Kenny, by you dropping that,
free.
There you go. Kenny, by you dropping that stat, you just, you know, turn some nuts in my head right now, some bolts loose and stuff. A lot of my parents, they love the fact that I'm a male in the homes. And because they don't have lots of male influence, that statistic that you just threw out right there plays a big contributing part why we need more males in early development. And early child development.
That sounds like the leading topic for next Tuesday, when Kenny is going to be back with us. right?
Thompson Tuesdays.
Thompson Tuesdays.
Thompson Tuesdays. Oh,
permanent guest spot.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
No. Then once again, Kenny, I know Alex and myself are always happy to have you join us. I mean, you just dropped a huge stat that it is a very, very good topic.
It is.
You know, so thank you again, man.
Yeah.
I would say we're just going to continue on with these. I know everyone understands band of brothers, man. We got me, Kenny, Alex, and Guzman. We got a bond of brothers here.
Yeah, that's right. So get the square together, baby.
So
yeah, buddy.
We got to definitely drop Guzman in our next video one of these days. But thanks again, Kenny, for dropping in and joining us for our channel.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'd like to see Guzman's too, because you know every father's going to do it differently, and it does. You know, we can still both do it right, even if we're doing it differently. So you just got to adapt to your kids and see where it goes.
And just like every other children, we all learn different. Children learn at a different pace. Children learn differently as far as the engagement of play. You're pinpointing so many things that we could touch on.
Yeah, well, even my two kids, right, are completely different, you know, and the same parents, same everything, but different personalities, different ways they like to learn, different ways they like to play. That's all. You just got to adapt.
There it is. Adapt. I love it.
Stamp it. All right, y'all. Please like, subscribe, share. Here we go.